Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, kicking off the Breeders' Cup week at Del Mar with the Wednesday Formulator Race of the Day. Stakes action going a mile on the turf. Let's take a look at the field for race number 7. It's the Let It Ride Stakes. $75,000 is the purse. We have a field of 8. Head on over to the Race of the Day event page on drf.com. Download your free Formulator past performances and handicap along with us as we take this field in post-position order. Matt, the number 1, Van Cortlandt, claimed for 50 by Vladimir Serin, immediately paid dividends with a nice trip win for a starter $50,000 allowance.
Yeah, nice to come right back first off the claim and get a victory. I have to be honest, I look at him and think he's a little bit cheap in here. I know you've got a lot of horses that are trying to find out where they actually fit. I think Van Cortlandt is at the very bottom of the list.
Does have good tactical speed, breaks from a, you would think, advantageous inside post with a relatively short run to the turn. He can work out a good trip, but here's a troubling formulator fact for his very good trainer.
No.
Past 5 years, last out winners on turf, 0 for 35 with only 3 in the money.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand some people don't want to take facts, whatever you want to call them, at face value. To me, that's a disaster.
The number 2, Holiday Stone, has kept some pretty good company throughout his career, mostly on the East Coast for trainer George Weaver. He has multiple stakes placed, and last time out at Kentucky Downs going 7 furlongs, I was stunned that he was on the lead and dueling, because this is sort of a mid-pack runner. But hey, his race in the Transylvania earlier this year, best on the lead, got beat by a good horse in big score. Franklin Simpson, best on the lead early, got run down by Master Marion, who's also in this field. It's the perfect example of won the duel, lost the war.
I think the other thing, too, to keep in mind, I know the fractions at face value probably don't look like they were that fast when you're contesting it on a duel over yielding ground, over that kind of undulating course. I think it was a lot harder than it may have looked at face value. I think this is an interesting spot for this horse. And how many times have we seen the East Coast go west and succeed on turf?
We'll get to the projector in a bit, but do you think this horse is going to the top one more time, or do you think he'll sit just off?
No, I would hope that he's going to sit just off. I would assume a horse like Dangerfield is going to be forwardly placed. Maybe we even get the stretch-out sprinter from Mark Glatt, the 7 horse. I would like to think that this horse is going to sit a little bit and then make a move.
Number 3 is Kitten's Cat. This horse comes out of that race that produced Master Marion and Holiday Stone. He didn't do much running that day, but he didn't have to like Kentucky Downs, even though he did win his maiden there last fall. The Kentucky Downs with a yielding turf course, I think, is very deep and tiring. Kitten's Cat, to me, though, hasn't really gotten much better than the Kitten's Cat we saw early in 2017 when he was with Joe Sharp. He does have a positive formulator fact. Michael Maker, 33%, $3 ROI, going sprint to route first off the bench.
Yeah, my biggest concern is what you brought up. I don't think he's improved a heck of a lot from early on as a 3-year-old to this point in his career.
Second time turf, listed as a first-time gelding for the number 4. That's Dangerfield, who was only beaten 2 lengths in his first start on the turf, going a mile and an eighth. The runner-up came back to win an entry-level race with an 86 Beyer speed figure. This is a horse that's paired up Beyer tops in his last 2, but don't you get the feeling he still needs another boost in order to contend?
Yeah, I do, and I have to be honest, I'm hopeful that they're just going to send him, because I don't think he can outkick some of these other horses if he's trying to sit off when you've got the closers. I think his best asset is trying to be forwardly placed and just go on with it and try to wire the field.
Harbor Master maybe found himself a little bit too far back last time out. I know that they were cooking in the early portion of that race, and maybe he was out sprinted. He came with his usual solid run. He fits at the restricted level, the entry level. The Del Mar Derby is just a throw out when his saddle slipped up against Sharp Samurai. The horse Tristan's Trilogy, who finished second in his most recent start, he's gotten back into form. He came back to run third with a 90 Beyer. This horse certainly has a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't fault anyone that went that direction. I wonder, with the amount of horses, to me anyway, it feels like a lot of the horses have very similar running styles. They don't like to necessarily be on the lead, but they want to be forwardly placed. I still feel like Harbor Master's going to need them to kind of duke it out a little bit to take advantage.
The 6 Master Marion took advantage of that pace duel that included Holiday Stone last time out. But as we see from the Timeform US pace projector, he can be versatile. He was a gate-to-wire winner over this course and distance back on August the 12th, beating Harbor Master. Master Marion began his career like, boy, he was going to be a professional maiden, a seconditis special. He has now reeled off 3 in a row. I like the way he finished off that Franklin Simpson last time out. Yes, he got some help up front, but he just kicked those horses down with the widest and fastest bid.
Highest last out Beyer in the field, highest last out Timeform US rating in the field showed that he doesn't need to have the lead in order to win. I think it's going to be a very similar situation. He's never been off the board from 8 lifetime starts. He's got a win at Del Mar. I mean, the list of positives for this horse is very, very long.
The 7 Money Don't Spend itself is sitting second on that Timeform U.S. pace projector. And on paper, it looks like maybe he's a little overmatched from a class standpoint, shipping down from Emerald Downs. But you want to talk about a turf pedigree?
Yeah.
This horse has it in spades.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? With a guy like Mark Glass, I have the utmost faith that he's going to have this horse ready to go. The question is he good enough? I think the turf isn't going to be a problem. I don't think the distance is going to be a problem. I just don't know if he's quite this talented.
Street Boss connects with 16% first-time turf runners. The Dam was a turf runner who has foaled 2 turf runners, including Zapessa, winner of the First Lady. So maybe this horse will step on turf and maybe he'll work out a comfortable trip just off the pace. Curly's Waterfront completes the field. This horse is listed as a first-time gelding. First off the claim, he's got to do a lot better.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. I just think he's a little bit slow right now.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the $75,000 Let It Ride Stakes, featuring a field of 8, and we're both going with the horses coming out of the Franklin Simpson. You like the 2, Holiday Stone, 3-1 on the morning line to get a comfortable tracking trip, perhaps.
I think the way that you laid it out is ideal, where you know what, he was the one that went out there, he lost the battle, or he won the battle, lost the war, I should say, and I wonder now you get a little bit of a more favorable setup. I don't know that I love the 2-hole because I do think he's going to need to be a little bit more forward maybe than I would even like him to be. But I really believe now more and more about the whole east going west, west going east thing. I think the West Coast dirt horses are better than the East Coast dirt horses, and vice versa. I think the East Coast turf horses are better than the West Coast ones.
When we did the preview for the Franklin Simpson, one of our stakes previews at Kentucky Downs, I mentioned that Master Marion made a believer out of me with that race at Del Mar. Considering some of his other races, that's the kind of race that the old Master Marion would have lost. But he dug in deep to hold off Harbor Master. Loved the way he kicked him down last time out. We'll see if he can make it a 4-peat in the Let It Ride Stakes. Matt's going 2-6-3-5. I'm going 6-5, 4, and 2. And if you are betting the Wednesday Del Mar card from home, looking for a little scratch before Breeders' Cup time, $300 sign-up bonus is enough scratch, I would think.
I would say so.
DRF.com/falls where you need to go. Promo code FALL300 is what you're going to punch in. You'll immediately get your $300 DRF bets sign-up bonus. Approximate post time for the Let It Ride, race number 7 at Del Mar on Wednesday, 3:29 Pacific. Good luck.